you for joining me at Check the Tech. And the topic for today's video is sending emails from PowerApps. And this feature in particular is something that I really like about PowerApps because it removes the dependency on any workflow tools like SharePoint Designer or Power Automate flow to be able to send emails to users. And it has all the fancy features like giving an option to user to attach something in that email or sending on from somebody else's mailbox or a group mailbox and things like that. And these are the features that are actually setting it ways and leagues ahead of InfoPath in my personal opinion. So let's jump right into it. What I have here is a data entry form 2 or DEF2 with one entry that I've already created. And in this specific custom list, we have a person or a group column with an employee name called Ligu. And if I show you this item, it already has an attachment, which is Ligu's resume. So we are going to try and write this feature in PowerApps that would send emails on a push of a button. And some of the advanced features that we will try to add to that. So let me move to the PowerApps interface for this specific custom list that I've already opened to save time. And one of the things that we should do at first is add a connector that will enable us to send emails from this specific PowerApps instance. So the name of the connector is Office 365 Outlook. You can see it here in the connectors list. So I'll just select it and add it to my available list of connections and then move back to my form. So let me just quickly insert button here. And the intention here is for us to be able to send an email by the push of a button. So on the onSelect event of this button, I'm going to just add the Office 365 Outlook dot send email v2. And as soon as I do that, it is actually telling me a couple of parameters that are kind of mandatory, and without those parameters it won't be able to send the email itself. And then there are a couple of optional parameters as well, and we'll look at all of them. So the to field here in particular is supposed to be a text field, and in this case I want the to field to be the name of the employee. So I'm going to use the SharePoint integration feature. So I'll just say SharePoint integration dot selected, and that would allow me to go down to the employee name's email. So now we have the to field figured out. Yeah. So let's think about the subject here. So I'll just, for this specific video, I'll just say test subject, and I will write test body. Test body. So that's about it. That's with these three parameters, we are good to send an email. So let me show you that. So if I press the Alt button on my keyboard and just press on this button, Ligu should have received an email by now. Let me go and check his mailbox. Yes, indeed, he did get an email with the test subject and the test body. So let's try and look at some of the advanced features here as well. So for instance, if I want to for the subject to have the ID of this item, I can use a concatenate here. So I can write this is for item with, if I can spell it right, with ID and I'll give an ampersand, and then again I'll use this SharePoint integration feature dot selected list item ID. So between this comma and the comma before that, whatever we've written, it's going to treat that as the subject of the email that is being pushed out. And with this body, this can actually be an HTML field. So let me try and put a hyperlink here. So if I want to write some or maybe give a link to this item in the body of the email, I can write something like this. So I can write a href is equal to, and then I got to give the you can say SharePoint integration dot selected dot I think there is link to item, so I can do that. So let me expand this a little bit. So ahref, and then I have the single quote here. So these 4 quotes actually represent a single quote. Then the SharePoint integration dot selected dot link to item is the actual link to the item, and then I need to give the closing quotation mark, and then I have to write, let's say, click here and close the anchor tag. Yeah, so let's try and send an email and see if it works. So I'm just going to click on this button again and go back to Lee Goo's email. So he's already got an email, and as you can see here, he's got an email with this link that says click here, and even the subject has the ID of the item, which is the ID of the item from which this mail has come. So if I click on this right here, it's going to open that specific item. Yeah, so deep linking to that specific item. So this specific approach works. So just like this, and this can be as long as you want. You can have all the fancy things that you can do with an HTML field and put all of that in the body of the email. Yeah. Now let's look at some of the fancy features here. So let's say if I wanted to the attachment first. So if I wanted to have an attachment field, and attachment happens to be an optional field, so that has to go inside these curly braces. So I'll just write attachments here with colon, and then it is actually expecting a table, and that table is supposed to have essentially 2 columns. One called a value column that will have the name of the file, and then another column called content bytes that has the contents of that specific file. So in order to achieve it, I'm going to use a collection. So let me create a collection before I actually use it here. So I'm just going to supersede this specific on select Office 365 Outlook.send email v2 with a collect command. So I'll just write collect, and inside the brackets I have to actually specify the name of the collection. So I'll just name my collection as attach, and in this specific collection I am going to store whatever is there in this specific card. So the name of this card is going to be data card value 3. So I'll just write data card value 3 dot attachments. Yeah, so this will actually give me the table that I need stored in a collection called attach. Yeah, now if you notice here, it has made this this formula here unhappy because I have not finished it yet. So I got to do a few things before I actually am able to send attachments. But let me show you what are the contents of this specific collection called attach. So I've just removed everything and just kept this comment. If I press this button now, and if I go back in the files section to collections, it's actually showing me the contents of collection called attach. So there are two columns here. One is called name, another called value. Yeah. So name is good, but the other one needs to be renamed, because what PowerApps is expecting is a column called content bytes for it to be able to put this document in the attachment. So we've got to rename the column, and for that I'm going to use the function called rename column. Yeah. So rename columns. The first thing it's going to ask me is what table do you want to use, and the table I want to use here is this collection called attach. So I'll just say attach, and then it's going to ask me what is the name of the old, what is the existing name of the column or old underscore column. I'll say the existing name is value, and then it'll say, okay, so you want to rename it to what? And then I'm going to say content bytes. Yeah, sounds about right. So if I highlight this entire thing, it'll show you a table with two columns, one being the name and the other being content bytes. Yeah, and I've just put this function inside the attachments parameter. Okay, so the attachments parameter is going to read this table. So if everything I've done here is correct, when I click on this send email button, it's going to send an email with an attachment. So let me go to Lee Goo's email box and check. Yes, but you will notice here that he's got two files, but here there's only one file. So why has he received it twice? Is because when I click this button, the collection called attach, we appended this resume once more. So we need to clear this collection before we add values to it, so that every time it doesn't append values to it, but basically it's a clear collection, and then on that clear collection we write whatever number of attachments are here. Yeah, so I'll just clear this collection with the clear command, and inside the clear function I'll just write attach. And now if I press this button and go to his email, now he's got this just once, and if I click on this, it's gonna open this Word file. So things are working as expected. Yeah, so now we have seen the attachment feature. I'm going to make another video where I use the CC feature, but that CC I'm going to look up from another SharePoint list, and also a feature where I actually get the attachments from a different SharePoint list, because there can be a situation where you actually get documents from a different SharePoint list and you want to send that from this specific instance. So we will look at that in the next video. But for now, thank you for deciding to watch this video. I hope this was helpful. If it was, I request you to subscribe to this channel and like this video. And as promised, I will try and keep posting videos about Power Apps, Power Automate, Python, and so on. But for now, thank you and have a good one. Bye bye.